You are about to learn the approach to structuring your Google Ads search campaigns, which currently in this world in 2023, as of filming this video, it is the correct way from my experience to build your search campaigns. I have done ads now for over 100 different businesses. I've been doing this for many years now.
It's been many years.
I've got an entire team doing it, and we have A/B tested this against every other approach you can imagine. We've tried dynamic ads, we've tried single keyword ad groups, we've tried one ad group in one campaign, just sticking all the keywords into it. We've tried all these different approaches, and this is the approach that works out best for increasing the number of conversions, the amount of value from those conversions, and so ultimately just making more money out of your campaigns, making them more profitable for yourself. And that's what I'm guessing you're probably after. Firstly, let's just define a few different things that we're going to be talking about in this video. Let's start with a keyword. A keyword is a combination of words, or maybe a single word, that you're putting into Google Ads and you're saying, please go and find me searches that relate to this keyword. So it's a keyword, or words is the misleading part, I always think, in the name of it. And it can have a broad match, a phrase match, or exact match. And that defines how tightly Google is going to be around finding searches connected to that keyword. But let's just say, for example, you're a paid ads agency. A keyword for us might be paid ads agency in quotes, or an exact match phrase, or maybe broad match. That'd be a bit wild, but you could do that. And so that's us trying to show up for searches related to paid ads agency. So that is what a keyword is. And then there are search terms. Search terms are the result of your keywords. So say if we had paid ads agency, well, a search term we might show up for is literally just paid ads agency, but it could also be best paid ads agency, or it could be social media agency if we have broad match or even phrase match that could show up. Or it could be paid ads agencies in London or in Canada or in whatever. So the fact that a keyword is one thing, the search terms are broadly all the actual end result of what that keyword makes you actually show up for. So it's the actual term that someone has searched that you have shown up for. So you can always see this data. You get roughly 60% it changes. We don't really know actually. You don't get all of the search term data, but you do get a lot of it, and it's really valuable to look at. So those are search terms. And then finally, ad groups. For this video in particular, ad groups, it's very important to understand what these are. So you have a search campaign, and then within a search campaign, you have ad groups. And so ad groups is a group for one advert. For example, in this video, we're going to be talking about how to structure the campaign to make it that these ad groups make the most sense. And so I just want to point out, to kind of get to the crux of this video, it kind of tells you in the name, like it's a group of keywords for one ad. So this kind of hints at where I'm going to go with this video, which is that you want to use the natural setup of Google Ads in the way that it was intended. So an ad group is a group of keywords set to one specific advert that is going to then show up for any of the search terms from any of those keywords within that ad group. So it's in a way of sorting into smaller groups lots of different sets of keywords which have certain intent, so that you show one advert to this set of keywords and a different advert to this set of keywords. So this is an ad group. So let's dig into it. So now we're going to dig into an example to show you exactly how we go about structuring ad groups within search campaigns, which has been so effective for us. We're delivering over about a 5.3 ROAS right now, monthly return on ad spend, that is. And that's an average. Some of our clients are at 8, 9, 10 ROAS. And of course, brand campaigns are like, 40, 50, 60 ROAS a lot of the time, but ignoring that, the non-branded. So what we're going to use today as an example is Moonclerk. I use this company myself. I really like them. They're basically a kind of supporting service on top of an app like Stripe, which lets you set up recurring and one-time payments online in very nice forms with special designs and all sorts. So we are going to try and do some Google Ads ad groups for this company. So you can see that if I type in Moonclerk, I'm pretty sure at once I did actually see that they do run ads, at least on mobile at one point I saw, for their own brand name. But in this scenario, they don't. And you can see that there's a various Get App reviews, and there's also Subly, for example, Subbly versus Moonclerk. This is clearly a competitor. So we want to try and have as fewer chances as possible for Subbly to try and take Moonclerk's customers. So they should really be doing a brand campaign, I'd recommend here, to make sure that there's not just this one, but a second big one here. And it's even more prominent on mobile. So yeah, we're going to talk through some search campaigns. A brand campaign, of course, you would literally, in their case, just put Moonclerk as a keyword, and I'd build a manual CPC brand campaign around that. But let's look at getting them new customers. So we're going to look at the types of searches they might do, and then how might I put those into different ad groups. So let's just start putting down some ideas. So I just start spamming out ideas from my mind. So payment plan software, most obvious possible thing I can think of. Payment plan tools, systems, subscription software, forms. Maybe they're interested in the fact that it needs to be particularly mobile friendly. Maybe they care about the design, so custom designed, branded, maybe done for you, payment systems. Maybe we could do some competitor keywords, so things like Subbly is the one that we just looked at, or best alternative. Subbly sucks. Someone searching that maybe would be a good moment to get them. And then maybe we could do location-based ones. So UK management software, payment subscriptions, etc. So there we go. We've got a bunch of different ideas here. I've just kind of like spammed out a few thoughts off the top of my head. So then we have all of these different things. Someone searching for payment plan software. This is the broadest that you can get. It's kind of the core of what they do. With keywords, a really short explanation on it. You want to have complete user intent is how I describe it. So you want to try to have the entire intent behind this particular piece of software. So like payment software, that technically is what they are, but that's an extremely broad statement. So it's not really the secret sauce of Moonclerk. If we go into Moonclerk, they're particularly good at recurring, but also one-time online payments. But they also do things like the fact that you can customize the design, you can obviously security, things like that's really important for them. And then flexible options. I really like this within it for myself, is that you can easily set up, every 1 month, every 2 months, you can do coupons, you can do all sorts of other stuff. So they've got lots of other levels to their software, which works out really well. So you want to have some nuances to that within this. So we can also do feature-led ad groups. Something like the custom design was one of them, but we could also do payment plan software with coupons, with vouchers, etc. That could be some others. But payment software is so broad. At the very least, payment plan software is someone who's trying to set up a plan for a payment. So that is something that Moonclerk is especially good at. So recurring payments, we could also, of course, do that. Recurring payment software, tools, etc. So you then have this is a type of search someone's looking for. You've also got software, but you also have a tool. So some people think of it more as a tool. Maybe they're a bit less digital. Other people might talk about more of like a high-level system. Within each of these, there are nuances to those which mean different things. Like software is more something that you maybe pay for in a moment and a kind of recurring plan, which is what Moonclerk is. But let's say payment plan companies, that could mean a lot of other things. Companies, that might mean more someone who's a consultant within helping to manage payment plans, or there's loads of other nuances to what that might mean when someone's searching for that. Then we've got payment forms. This could be good. Recurring payment forms, that would be a bit better. Someone searching for just forms might mean that they're looking for an inbuilt payment form into their website. And Moonclerk does do this, but maybe it's not quite so much what they're focused on. And then we've got things like custom designed. This is great because, again, this is payment system software. You want to have enough unique source within each of these keywords that it's going to have a good enough opportunity for your brand. I would also say at this point, it depends on your budget, how much you go with this. Like if you're in a very niche case, or if you have a really big budget, then you may be more open-minded to having slightly larger keywords, which might be, say, like payment plans even. If you're like Halifax Bank or some huge bank, then maybe you would be using payment plans because you're just trying to get such a huge part of the country that you're trying to promote to. Whereas in this case, Moonclerk or many other businesses, I'd be surprised if that's where they wanted to start. So we might go more specific and tighter into what is their secret sauce so that we can beat their competition and make profitable campaigns, basically. So anyway, let's dig into this. So what we have now is all of these different keywords. So we want to split these up into ad groups. And how we do this is by thinking, what is the intent behind each of these searches, and then you want to have an ad group specific to each of those search intents. So you can see I've kind of done it a little bit naturally, automatically. So someone looking for payment plan software, then I think that that's one type of search intent. So I'm going to copy that, put that in bold as a way I do this to highlight to myself, this is the name of one ad group, and then this is a keyword within that ad group. I think payment plan software is maybe a bit too broad, but I might keep that at the beginning, but it likely would take up a lot of the budget. I'm going to say that payment plan tools, while it's largely the same intent as software, I think that if you were to split this up into two different ad groups, you may find that you would get a better click-through rate if you made an ad group with an ad specifically saying best payment plan tool, and then you had the keyword only showing up for that versus software. So I'm going to have those as two separate ad groups. Payment plan systems, I'm going to keep that as a separate ad group as well. Payment plan subscription software. So realistically, this is obviously a very long one. Payment plan subscription software. So I'm going to have that as a separate one too, because I think that subscription is uniquely different to this. There might also be that we want to target one-off. So instead of payment plan, it'd be one-off payment software. So of course, this and this as two different situations. It's someone looking for one-off versus payment plans and subscriptions. Then there's recurring payment software. Recurring payment plan, I'm going to just say that's pretty similar to payment plan subscription software. So I'm going to put that in there. Recurring payments, pretty much the same. The tools, we said here that it's different. I'm going to put that as its own separate ad group to follow the same logic. Recurring payment forms, this is a bit different to tools or softwares. So again, I'm going to put that as a separate ad group. Mobile friendly, so this one again is very similar to many of these others, but someone's very specifically searched for a mobile friendly option. So you're going to want to make an advert which has headline 1 saying mobile friendly. We are the mobile friendly badasses of payment systems. So we're going to put that in bold. And then the design side of things. So this is another very unique side to the software. So I'm going to put that in bold. So custom design payment software. You could go really hardcore with this and split it up more, but I think for now you could probably put these in the same place. But then branded is a different way of doing it. So like you say it differently. We've actually had this exact experience with a company which did custom and branded stuff, and it did make a difference in the click-through rate when we split up custom and branded into two separate ad groups. So I'm going to do that in this case. And then done for you payment systems. I think that this is not going to be very much search volume, so I'm going to not do too much effort into splitting this into loads of ad groups, and I'm going to keep the DFY version of it in with the others. And then lastly, we'll have a subly ad group, and then UK payment plans, and then all the UK ones can go in there. And then payment plans with coupons, we'll just call that. Arguably, you could split these two up into two different places because coupon is a bit more American, voucher is a bit more UK and other countries. So you might want to split that up, but for now, let's keep it relatively simple. So there you go. So now we've got these ad groups, and so there's a specific user intent behind each of them. And the other important thing that I think about when I'm looking at these is I say to myself, if someone was to see an advert which had payment plan software as the headline 1, then they are much more likely to click on it. Whereas if someone's typed in payment plan tool, but we show them an ad which says payment plan software, and someone else has made the extra effort to make an ad that says payment plan tool, they are more likely to click on the tool one than yours. It's just a matter of how the human brain works. The closer that headline 1 is, or headline 2 is, to your specific search, the better. That just is the game. And that's why single keyword ad groups was such a big thing. But I don't think you really need to go as close to single keyword ad groups all the time. So this is kind of what I do next, is I kind of flesh out the keywords within each ad group. So payment plan tools, like you get some trends as you start to go through it, etc. I carry on going through all of these. And so then you start to have these great ad groups, and there's quite a few keywords potentially within each of them, sometimes just one, but in many cases, it's great to add a few different varieties. And then I work through each of these as well, and I'd very likely be using a lot of phrase or exact match. I go through mostly phrase and exact, almost never using broad unless it's a really niche keyword which has barely got any searches, but we generally do Explorer campaigns when it comes to broad. I'll share a video about Explorer campaigns which I did recently that you can go watch to understand Explorer campaigns in a bit more detail. Anyway, this is how we split it up. This is proven over countless campaigns, countless clients that we've worked with to be the best way to get the highest click-through rate into the most conversions possible. The other really great benefit of all of this is that you can then create custom landing pages. Then you can create a specific landing page, which is like Subly versus Moonclerk, and then you do an entire page which talks about the benefits of Moonclerk over Subly, which is literally exactly what Subly did, by the way. So, you know, they're literally doing that right now. They're trying to take Moonclerk's customers. So Moonclerk can do the same thing, and then you can do ads to that as well. And that can work very well. We've seen that do really well with SaaS especially. And so that's what's so powerful about this ad group approach as well, is you can create custom landing pages for each of these different ad groups. What I generally do with clients is we don't necessarily start with that. We start with a variety of ad groups like this, and then after a month or two, once we've started to see which ad groups are worth our time, we cull some of the losers, and then we create custom landing pages for the stuff that we actually care about, just to avoid having to make like 15 to 20 different custom landing pages unnecessarily, and when actually it's only 7 or 8 ad groups that we might be sticking with in the long term. So there we go. This is it. Hopefully this has made sense. This is how to split out ad groups to have keywords specifically into that right intent, and it gives you all that freedom around the landing page stuff I've just mentioned. Hopefully that explanation has made sense. Ad groups really are actually quite simple in my eyes. But if you get this right, it really will considerably improve the results that you're seeing. So many people do this wrong. So many accounts I've audited are doing this in the wrong way. If you have enjoyed this, please do subscribe. I really enjoy it when people subscribe. It makes me so happy to see the channel grow, and it encourages me to make more of these videos, to put it bluntly. And if you have any other questions, so say if you want to go into more depth into keyword strategy, search terms, negative keywords, anything like that, then leave a comment below and let me know. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one.